All right, it looks like everyone's muted. Nicole, are we good? You're good, okay, awesome. All right, good morning, everyone. Beautiful Saturday, so I am really glad you could join me today. We'll begin seated for practice, and before you sit down, I did mention we're flowing a lot today, so there's no peak pose, but we will be traveling up and down the mat quite a bit, so decide where you'd like to set up your screen. Again, I would suggest the long edge of your mat as opposed to the top of your mat. And then once you're ready and you're done setting up, come on down to a comfortable seat. And that could mean cross-legged for you. If the hips are feeling tight this morning, you are certainly welcome to take 2 blocks, slide them under your knees. If your low back starts to round as you sit down, you can always elevate it and sit on a blanket. But go ahead and make yourself comfortable. Root down through your sit bones. Try and find a tall spine. And start to arrive on your mats. I also thought for today's practice, we would start with a mudra. And I don't always typically incorporate mudras into my practice, but I thought this one I picked up from Yoga Journal, and I thought this one really resonated with me, and it's very appropriate for the times that we're going through right now. So as you probably noticed, we're in this great pause. And for many of us, it's a time of transition, perhaps a time of unknown. And this mudra is called the Vajra Pradama mudra. Vajra Pradama, meaning the mudra of unshakable trust. And to work this mudra, you want to interlace your fingers up until the second knuckle. So not necessarily all the way to the webbing, just the second knuckle, with your thumbs pointing upwards. And you'll take your hands, place them on your chest, kind of right at your heart center. Thumbs are reaching for your collarbones, and then widen the elbows. And let this mudra rest here. And a mudra, if you're unfamiliar with it, is a hand gesture. It is the, sometimes we like to call it the sign language of yoga. It means seal. Mudra means seal. And this one's, I'll repeat it one more time, Vajra Pradama. And Vajra, the root word, has 2 different meanings. It means both diamond and thunderbolt in Sanskrit. So thunderbolt, which represents an unstoppable force, perhaps something that cleaves through ignorance, and a diamond, which is indestructible. And the benefits of this mudra, when you hold it, it builds self-confidence, it cultivates inner strength, and this one I really like. It gives us faith in something greater. So hold this mudra, and then as you do that, feel your heart rise, your breath rise into your palms as you breathe in. And then just notice the breath here. And it falls away as you exhale. And so the analogy goes, when you have unshakable trust in your true self, you are a force to be reckoned with. And this force restores something great. It's something, restores your faith in something greater. And start to deepen your breath if you haven't already. Taking those fuller inhales, lengthening out the exhales. Starting to quiet the mind. We'll take one more inhale and release your mudra on the exhale. And then extend the arms alongside you, palms facing up. On your inhale, you'll reach the hands up On your exhale, turn your palms to face out and slowly lower all the way down. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, reach out to the sky. Then exhale, slowly lower down. 1 more time. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, lower. And then just rest your hands in your lap, somewhat comfortable, and start to make these circles. So starting to wake up the spine. You can start small and gently allow the circles to gradually become bigger. I always like the analogy, if your spine was a wooden spoon and your pelvis is a mixing bowl, and you're stirring that wooden spoon in that mixing bowl. And then eventually, let those circles become smaller. And finding your way to stillness. And then take it in the other direction, starting small. And gradually letting those circles become bigger. And starting to shrink the size of those circles. And eventually finding stillness. All right, so I just want to make sure you can see my feet. You will come into cobbler's pose or Baddha Konasana, but with a little bit of a twist. I want you to take your toes and interlace them together. So think of zippered toes. If you were to interlace your fingers all the way up to the webbing, I want you to do that with your toes. So giving our feet a little bit of love today. I kind of want to prep the feet because we're doing our flow might involve a little bit of fancy footwork. And then once you've got your toes all zippered up, root down through your sit bones, and on your inhale, you'll lengthen your spine. On the exhale, just start to fold over gradually, and then pause where you feel the most sensation. Now, for some of us, that sensation is going to be in our low back. For some of us, it's going to be in our hips. So just stop where you get that juicy stretch, and then go ahead and round in. And if you need a block under your head, you're welcome to put one under. And remember that block has 3 different heights. So dial this in a manner that's comfortable to you. And then when you get there, take 7 cycles of breath. Continue to try and keep the mind present. You've given yourself 75 minutes just for you. So try not to let the mind wander. And on your next inhale, start to back out of this pose. Release your toes. And then I'm going to turn around so you can see what I'm doing next. You'll extend the left leg. Take your right ankle, cross it above the left knee, but you want the right foot outside of that left knee. Now here, if that left hamstring is starting to feel this, if it's still fairly tight because it's early, this is where that blanket comes in handy. You can slide the blanket under your knee so you're not hyperextending at the knee. Take a block. If the right knee is floating in the air, so the knee that's bent, if that's floating in the air, you're going to slide a block underneath that knee. Your left fingertips, you're going to interlace them with your right toes, so thread them in between your right toes all the way up to the webbing, so almost like you're shaking hands with your right foot. Inhale to lengthen your spine, and then exhale, fold over. And again, here, take 7 cycles of breath. Notice what parts you might be feeling this stretch in your body. See if you can send some love, some breath into those areas that you're feeling tender. And then on your next inhale, Start to lift your torso back out of it. Release your fingers from your toes, and then we're just going to switch sides. So extend the right leg, and then if that right hamstring is feeling tight, you can leave that blanket there. Cross the left foot above that right knee. If you need a block, go ahead and slide it under that left knee. Then take your right fingers, you'll interlace them with your left toes. On your inhale, lengthen your spine, crown of head to the sky. As you exhale, hinge at the hips and fold over. And start to back out of it, re-lifting your torso, setting the blocks aside. And then we'll come into broken toe. So you may want a blanket depending on how intense this stretch gets for you. But you'll come up to stand on your knees and then separate all your toes. So still giving our toes a little bit of love. And then start to sink your weight into your heels. Now, if this is too much, go ahead and take a block or that blanket. You can stack your knees on the blanket. You can stand on the blanket. Or perhaps a block will help. And customize this. So wherever you're at, go for 10. If you can take 10 cycles of breath here, go for that. And I will try and talk you through this. So you might recall Tuesday was fairly rainy. It was cold, it was wet, and I was grumpy. Wasn't feeling the day. And I like to kind of soothe myself, I ate half an apple pie. It was a pretty big apple pie, so I ate half of that, much to my husband's amazement. And so that kind of cured my mood a little bit. Wednesday comes along and I had to prepare for this flow. And I had the apple pie in mind when I was preparing the flow. So there's a lot of movement. And at the end of this, if you're really tired, you have the apple pie to thank for that. So it's a little bit self-serving. I think we have a couple more breaths. Hang on to it, do what you can. All right, go ahead and lift off your knees. Now grab 2 blocks and untuck your toes and just kind of tap your feet up now. And then let's come into a counter stretch. So you'll keep your feet in plantar flexion. So the toes are untucked. Press your hands down into the block and start to lift your knees. So stretching out the front of the ankles. So just to counter some of that. And slowly set your knees down. Okay. Now we need our blankets. And I want you to roll the blanket up fairly tightly. And the next pose is also going to be fairly intense. So I'd say just explore this and see how the body feels. But you'll slide the blanket all the way up until the crease of your knees, the back of your knees, and then start to sit back. So this is going to mean a little bit of a calf massage. And start to sit back and just observe for the next couple of breaths before we start moving a little bit. Now I've done this. This is my 4th time this week I've been doing this, and my calves are a little sore. And then I want you to start to add this rocking motion. You start to rock from side to side. So you are physically giving your calves a massage. Try to breathe through this. Try to smile through this. And if you can, try not to attach a like or dislike to this. Let it be about, what are you feeling? Notice the sensations. And then when you've had enough, you're going to lift off a little bit, slide this blanket down slightly. So you're just massaging different areas of your calf. And keep that rocking motion. And then you're going to travel back to our original spot. So come on up, lift up, just start moving this around, getting to all the areas that you didn't hit when you were coming on the way down. Eventually you'll end up with this blanket back towards your knees, the back of your knees. And then one last time, we'll come back there. Keep rocking from side to side. And then eventually you can get off that blanket, set it aside. We'll probably need it towards the end of class. And then go ahead and come into tabletop. Bring your shoulders over your wrists, your hips over your knees, finding your version of your neutral spine. And then a few rounds of cat-cow here. You can do this on your own with your breath. So inhale, neutral spine. Exhale, dome the upper back. Tuck your chin into your chest. Push the floor away from you. Then inhale, melt the belly. Melt the heart. Draw the shoulder blades down. Keep the collarbones wide. Maybe lift your gaze. Exhale, round into your cat. Inhale into your cow. One more time. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. And then exhale, neutral spine. Tuck your toes under. You can walk your hands forward just a wee bit and then start to lift your hips. So coming into your first down dog of the morning. 15 seconds here to pedal out your dog or choose stillness. Some days I like to be still, some days I need movement. All right, from your down dog, you'll rock forward to plank and then drop your knees and come all the way down. And then slide your hands, you want to be on your fingertips, just slightly away from you. So some fingers might still be on the mat, so not really a very wide open arm cobra yet, just a little bit. Then on your inhale, you'll start to lift your heart, lift your chest. Pull your pelvis up to your sternum bone, and your sternum bone forward, shine your heart forward. Take an inhale. As you exhale, lower down. Then you'll walk your hands off even further away from you on each side. Anchor down to the tops of your feet. Then inhale, lift, maybe a little higher. This time, take your gaze over your right shoulder. Come back to center. Take your gaze over your left shoulder. Come back to center. And lower down. Then walk your fingertips out even further. Inhale, lift. Again, adding the neck. Take your gaze over the right shoulder. Inhale, come back to center. Take your gaze over your left shoulder. Come back to center. And slowly lower down. Now bring your hands under your shoulders. Then you decide up dog, cobra, and then we'll meet in down dog. So cobra is tops of feet stay on the mat. You lift your heart, lift your chest. And then come into your down dog. Okay, working into our sun salutations. On your inhale, lift your heels, bend your knees, travel to the top of your mat. Forward fold, Uttanasana. Here, shift your weight forward slightly so that you bring your hips over your ankles. Your weight is going to be in midfoot and toes. If the hamstrings are feeling tight, go ahead and bend your knees deeply or not, your choice. Then inhale, halfway lift, pull out of your waist, spine is long. Exhale, fold. Now inhale, rise up into Utkatasana chair. So sink your hips, tailbone points in between your heels. Take an inhale here. On the exhale, you'll swing the arms back and then rock back on your tippy toes. So coming into your drinking bird. You hold this. Inhale, rise up into Urdhva Hastasana, but see if you can stay on your tippy toes as you do this. So working the feet. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back to your high plank. Then you decide here if you want to chaturanga or not, and hold your plank. And we'll all meet in down dog. So flow through cobra or up dog. Eventually meeting in down dog. Okay, we'll work through a few more of those. Inhale, lift your heels, bend your knees, travel to the top of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair. Exhale, drinking bird, lift your heels. Then stay on your tiptoes as you rise up into Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, forward fold, heels touch the floor. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to your high plank. Stay for the inhale, then choose chaturanga or not. Up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. And let's do one more. Lift your heels, bend your knees, travel to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Then inhale, Utkatasana, chair. Exhale, drinking bird. I do not know the Sanskrit name for this. On your tippy toes. Inhale, rise all the way up on your tippy toes. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, high plank. Stay for the inhalation. Chaturanga or not. Up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. Take 3 cycles of breath in this down dog, and then we'll add on to the flow. Okay, from your down dog, looking back at your toes, right leg lifts, so 3-legged dog. Now try and keep weight even across your hands as you do this. Don't dump weight into your left hand. Take an inhale. Then with control, step your right foot forward in between your hands. So you'll have to rock forward, bringing shoulders over wrists. Gently step that right foot down. So coming into your low lunge, here a block might be helpful. I'm gonna set that under my left hand. Then on the inhale, come into an easy twist. So reach the right hand up for the sky. Keep that right knee squeezing in towards the midline. So right knee, right hip squeezes into the midline. Take an inhale. On the exhale, you'll swim this right hand down in between your legs and then reach for your left thigh. Now see here if you can start to gently straighten that right knee as you do this. So the right knee can straighten a little, you can straighten a lot. I call this flossing. Then inhale, we'll twist again. Exhale, swing the right arm in between your legs, maybe straighten the front knee, reach for your left thigh. Last time, reach up, twist, then floss. This time, inhale, easy twist. Exhale, low lunge. Spin the back foot down about 30 degrees. The left toes point at the left corner of your mat, squaring your hips. Keep this in your abdominals, but rise up into your warrior one. So keep the hips square. Wrapping the right hip back, the left hip forward. If you need to widen your stance, so moving your feet further apart from each other, you're welcome to do that. And soften your neck, the sides of your neck. Take an inhale. On the exhale, you'll swing your arms towards your left leg and come into a skater lunge. So if you imagine you're an Olympic skater, the left knee bends, the arms go towards the left. Then inhale, swing the arms back towards the right and come into your high crescent. So here you're on your back tippy toes. You're squeezing your legs together, so scissoring your legs. You're allowing the front thigh to descend closer to the mat, and you're lifting the back of your left thigh up towards the sky. Take an inhale. Exhale, open arm twist. So twist towards the right. Shoulders remain over your hips. Imagine you're trying to hug the wall beside you. Then inhale, come into your exalted warrior. So drop your right hand somewhere along your left thigh. Left hand reaches up for the sky. Gaze can be wherever that's comfortable for your neck. Slowly make your way into extended side angle towards the back of your mat. So all that fancy footwork. So here it is the left knee that bends. Press that left forearm into your thigh. Press the left thigh up into the forearm. And so this right hand, you can reach up for the sky, or you can bring it down by your ear, your choice. Then you'll slowly make your way into warrior two, but at the top of your mat, so the right side. So right knee bends. Here it's heel to arch alignment, shoulders stacked over your hips. And reach up energetically through both your fingertips, all your fingertips. Try to keep your pelvis leveled. Then turn the palms to face up. Slice the palms across each other and straighten that right knee. Then you come into warrior two at the back of your mat. And settle here. Maybe deepening the bend in that left knee. Very slowly sweep the right arm forward. Come onto your right tippy toes. So you're in crescent lunge legs, but your arms at 90 degrees. Take an inhale here. On the exhale, slowly drop that right knee, hover it, reach up for the sky. Then inhale, drop the hands, but lift that right knee. Exhale, hover that back knee, maybe an inch off your mat, lift the arms. Exhale, lower the arms 90 degrees, straighten that knee. One more time. Inhale, reach up, but drop the knee. Exhale, reach forward. Take an inhale. Exhale, plant your palms, and here, I want you to step this left foot probably about halfway down your mat. Halfway down your mat. Keep the hands where they're at, and then come and lift the right leg. So you're almost in a variation of a standing split. But here, I want you to do 3 left heel lifts. So you'll start to come up onto your tippy toes, lift that left heel as high as you can go. Then set it down. 2 more times, please. Lift that heel. Set it down. And then lift the heel one more time. Set it down. Now, options. You can step back to down dog. If you want to try one handstand hop, go ahead and do that. So to do that, you want to bring the left heel towards the left butt, okay? So it's a hop, and then step back to down dog. And then take 3 cycles of breath here. Okay, now inhale, left leg lifts. And slowly make your way to a low lunge with control, step it up. Then if you need your block, call your block in. Inhale, easy twist, lift the left hand to the sky. Squeeze the left hip, left knee in towards your midline. Take an inhale. Exhale, swing that left hand down in between your legs. Reach that left hand for the right thigh and maybe straighten that front leg. 2 more times, please. Inhale, easy twist. Exhale, floss. Inhale, easy twist. Exhale, floss. Inhale, twist. This time, low lunge. Set your feet up for warrior one. Point the right toes towards the right bottom corner of your mat. Squeeze that left hip in, wrap it back, wrap the right hip forward, then very slowly, using your core, lift up into your warrior one. Take a couple of breaths here. Try and keep that right heel down on your mat. Slowly make your way into a skater lunge. The arms will swim to the right knee bends. You're that Olympic speed skater. Then inhale into your high crescent. And scissor your thighs together. Coming into your open arm twist. Then exalted warrior. And then you make your way into extended side angle on the right. So back to the top of your mat. Pressing the right forearm down into that thigh, and the right thigh presses back. Try not to sink into your right shoulder joint. Then swim the arms, and you come into warrior two facing the back of your mat. Turn your palms to face up. Slice them across each other, straighten that left knee. Warrior two to the front of your mat. Start to sweep this left hand forward at 90 degrees, and then come onto the left tippy toes. Squeeze the inner thighs together. Take an inhale. On the exhale, the left knee drops, the hands go up. And then 90 degrees, inhale. Exhale, drop that knee. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And this time, low lunge. And then step the right foot back about halfway down. Then lift your left leg and take those 3 heel lifts. So lift, come up onto your right tippy toes. Lower it. 2 more times, please. Lift, lower, lift, lower. And then you get to decide down dog, or if you want to try that one handstand hop, because nobody's watching you and I can't see you, and you're not in a room with anyone, go ahead and bring the right heel towards your butt, and then step back, down dog. Take an inhale here. Take an exhale. And then start to lower your knees. Come into quadruped, so tabletop again. But this time, curl your toes under and just hover your knees slightly off your mat. So I call this the hover tabletop. Then step your right hand, one handprint forward. Bring your left knee towards your wrist. See if you can connect the knee to wrist. Then step back to that hover tabletop. Left hand steps one palm print forward, right knee to right wrist. Tap, step back, hovering tabletop. We'll try that one more time. Right hand steps one hand print forward, left knee taps left wrist. Step back, hover tabletop. Left hand steps forward, right knee to right wrist. Step back, hover tabletop. And go ahead, straighten those knees, come back to down dog. Okay, we'll try that floor again, maybe a little faster this time. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, low lunge. Then inhale, come into your easy twist. Exhale, floss, straighten that right knee. We'll just do it twice. Inhale, twist. Exhale, reach. Inhale, twist. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, warrior one. Transition to that skater lunge. Swing the arms towards the left knee. Inhale back to a high crescent. Squeeze the thighs together. Then open arm twist. Exalted warrior. Then cartwheel your hands and come to extended side angle at the back of your mat. So it's the left knee that bends. Swing the arms up. Warrior two to the front of your mat. Right knee bends. Slice the hands across each other. Straighten the right knee. Back to warrior two at the back of your mat. Sweep the right hand forward. And then come onto your right tippy toes. Take an inhale. Exhale, drop that right knee. Hover. And then straighten. Reach up and hover. Straighten. Plant your palms. Step this left foot back, maybe halfway down your mat. Kick that right leg up, like that variation of standing splits. 2 heel lifts, please. Lift the left heel once. Get high on those left tippy toes. Set it down. One more time. Lift. Set it down, then you decide if you want to try that hop. You'll have to bring the left heel towards the left butt, but use the right leg as a bouncer. So lift the right heel to the sky. At the same time, you bring the heel towards the butt, and then step back down dog. And then other side. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, easy twist to the left. Exhale, floss. Inhale, twist. Exhale, floss. Inhale, twist. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, Vera one. Exhale into that skater lunge. Inhale back into your high crescent. Ooh. Then exhale, open arm twist to the left. Inhale, exalted warrior. Exhale, extended side angle, but it's on the right side. Warrior two, please, to the back of your mat. And then slice your hands, straighten that left leg. Warrior two to the front of the mat. High crescent legs, so close that hip, come to your left tippy toes, arms reach forward, take an inhale. Exhale, drop that left knee, hover it. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, reach up, but drop the knee. Inhale, straighten. Low lunge, plant your palms, step this right foot halfway down your mat, lift the left leg. Two heel lifts, inhale, lift. Exhale, set the right knee, right heel down. Then lift again. Then set it down. Then you have those choices, down dog or try the hop. You've got to use the left leg as a bouncer, lift, and then step back down dog. And then start to walk your hands back to your feet. And then just come into a forward fold here at the back of your mat. So knees can be bent. If you want to take ragdoll, go ahead and do that. But just let your spine decompress. Let your head hang heavy here. You can add a hip sway if you'd like. And then very slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, start to roll up to stand at the back of your mat. And then maybe, let's come back into Vajrapradama Mudra. Just kind of to resettle before we move into our balancing flow. So I did promise a lot of flow. Even in our balance sequence, we'll have flow. The mudra of unshakable trust. All right, release your mudra. And then start to, your hips, we'll come to chair. So you decide if you want your feet together. If your feet are together, keep your feet together in chair, or if your feet are slightly apart, your knees are slightly apart. So bend into your chair with your hands at heart center. We're at the back of our mats. And then take your hands, interlace the fingers at the webbing, and then press your hands into your left knee, your left thigh, sorry. Keep the knees bent as you start to lift the right heel. So hovering in this one-legged chair. If the shakes happen, that's completely okay. Maybe start to straighten that right leg, but keep the left knee bent. Swing the right leg off to the side. So abduction, abduction. And then maybe swing it back. And then adduction. So you cross it over the midline and drop. Well, hover it first. And then drop your toes. Oh. Then here we go. Inhale, reach up with both hands. Circle your right wrist with your left fingertips, and then start to side bend and lean. Side bend and lean. So getting a nice side stretch on the right side of your body. Then come into a twist. Bring your palms together. Hook the right elbow outside of the left knee. But keep your right tippy toes on the floor. Now keep this twist. Can you swing this right leg back to 6 o'clock? Very slowly, try and do this and balance. So balance is a little off today for me, but it's almost like a twisted warrior three. Then slow, slow, can you come up to stand one-legged Tadasana with your right knee into your chest. And then bring your left hand to the outside of the right knee and maybe twist in the other direction. Come back to center. Straighten this right leg and slowly step this right foot forward. And then square your hips. Inhale, you will reach up. Exhale, forward fold into your pyramid. So in pyramid, I like to personally take my right hand, one hand and rest it on my sacrum, just to kind of get an idea of, are my hips level when I do this? You can also inhale and lengthen your spine, and then with every exhale, think of folding a little deeper. So many things you can do here. Just keep that right hip wrapping back, the left hip wrapping forward. And then you'll lift up halfway. And here is where I'd like you to come onto the edges of both feet. So the knife edge of both feet. So we have to roll onto the pinky toe side of each feet. Your legs are crisscrossed like a twisty tie. Start to walk your hands. If the right foot's at 12, walk your hands to maybe 1 or 2 o'clock. So this gets into that right outer leg seam. So again, try and not attach a like or dislike to this, but make it more about just feeling sensation all along that right outer hip. Okay, come back through center. And then this time you'll pivot towards the left side of your mat, setting up for your forward fold. So in my forward folds, I typically like my feet to be parallel with each other. Inhale, lengthen halfway, then exhale, fold. Some of you will set a block under your head if the head doesn't touch the floor. For those of you that find forward folds very easy and getting your head to the floor is easy, try and narrow your stance. So it's, as opposed to a wide stance, make it a narrower stance. And then you have 7 cycles of breath here, so anything goes in this forward fold. Try and keep your weight even across both feet. Keep the arches of your feet lifted. Keep the sit bones tilted up. Roll the inner thighs back. Then bring your hands back under your shoulders. Walk your hands to the top of your mat. So you're in a bit of a low lunge. Now here, you're just gonna step your back foot up. You can do this. If you need support, go ahead and do this. If you'd like a little bit of a challenge, lift your hands, no hands, step up, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold down. And then inhale, we rise all the way up. Hands back to heart center, so we've got to make our way back in the other direction. So turn around, face the back of your mat. Let's come back into that chair. So come back into the chair with your hands at heart center. Tailbone points down in between your heels. Some folks will lean forward slightly. I prefer to keep my spine upright, like I'm sliding down a wall. Interlace your hands. This time, press it on your right thigh. Start to shift your weight into your right foot and hover the left foot off the mat. Start to straighten it out behind you once you've got your balance. If the right toes are pointed at 12, try and swing this left leg towards 9 o'clock. And then take it back behind you. And then maybe to 4 or 5 o'clock and let the toes come down. Then inhale, sweep your hands up. Circle the right wrist, side bend and lean. And then come into that twist, hooking the left elbow outside of the right knee. And then here's where you can try and come into that twisted warrior 3 by picking up the left leg and see if you can send it back to 6 o'clock. Maybe straighten the right knee. And slow, Bring yourself up to stand with your left knee into your chest. Whoa. Right hand to the outside of the left knee, left hand on hip or reaching back into a twist. And very slowly come back to center. Straighten this right leg. Step it as far forward as you can go. Square your hips. Inhale, reach up. Then exhale, fold into your pyramid. Think of lengthening your spine. I like to say I reach my nose from my toes. And then sense if your hips are leveled. Inhale, halfway lift. And here's where you'll come onto the knife edge of both feet. So roll onto the right knife edge of the right foot, left foot, and then walk your hands to about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. So that twisty tie. And if you can somehow find the room to fold a little deeper, it'll intensify that sensation in that left outer hip. Okay, come out of your twisty tie slowly, and then walk your hands down this way, and then adjust your feet, and like mine parallel to each other. Inhale, lengthen your spine, and then exhale, fold. So second and last Prasarita, you decide what you'd like to do here. 7 rounds of breath. On your next inhale, bring your hands under your shoulders and halfway lift. Exhale, low lunge, left knee leads. You're at the back of your mat. Then again, you'll step back into that forward fold. So no hands or use hands, your choice. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Hands back to heart center. Turn around, face the top of your mat. We have one final flow with final add-ons. Inhale, sweep your hands out and up. Have a seat in your chair. Stay for the inhale. Exhale, come into your drinking bird. Lift your heels, coming onto your tippy toes. Inhale, come back into Urdhva Hastasana, but on your tippy toes. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, walk your hands back out to your high plank. Stay for the inhalation, and then we'll meet in down dog. Okay, from your down dog, right leg lifts, 3-legged dog. Step it up, low lunge. Inhale into that easy twist. Exhale, one floss, straighten that right knee. Inhale back into your twist. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, Vera 1, square your hips. Exhale, skate a lunge to the back of your mat. Inhale, high crescent, top of your mat, front of the mat, right leg leads. Exhale, open arm twist. Inhale, exalted warrior. Exhale, extended side angle to the back of your mat, left knee bends. Inhale, warrior 2, front of your mat. Stay for the exhale. Then slice the hands across each other, straighten that right knee. Warrior 2 to the back of your mat. Shoulders over hips. Sweep the right hand forward. Come into the right tippy toes. Take an inhale. Exhale, drop that knee. Reach the arms up. Exhale, lift the back knee. Set the hands down. One last time, lift this leg up. But this time, cross it over the midline. Drop your toes on the floor. Then reach up and side bend what we just did in our balance sequence. So one more time to try that twisted warrior 3. Then come into the twist. Right elbow outside of left knee. And then coming into that twisted warrior three. Maybe straighten the left knee if you can. Take an inhale. Then release the hands, step the right toes back. Left toes down the middle of your mat. Lift that right leg. Come into one heel lift. We'll meet in down dog. If you want to try that handstand hop one more time on this side, go ahead. And then down dog. Left side. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, the lunge. Inhale, easy twist. One floss. Inhale, easy twist. Low lunge. Inhale, warrior one. Skate lunge at the top of your mat. High crescent. Open arm twist. Exalted warrior. Exhale, extended side angle at the top of your mat. Then warrior two at the back of your mat. Straighten the left knee, slice the arms. Warrior two at the front of your mat. And sweep the left arm forward. Close that hip. Inhale, drop the left knee, reach up. Exhale, set the hands down. One more time, lift this back leg. Cross it behind the right, drop your toes. Inhale, reach up. Circle the left wrist, side bend and lean towards the right. And then come into that hook twist, hooking the left elbow outside the right knee. See if you can come into that twisted warrior three, lift the left leg, back to 6 o'clock. Maybe straightening that right knee. Hold it for 3, hold it for 2, 1, low lunge. Right foot steps back halfway down your mat. Lift the left leg, lift the right heel, one heel lift. We meet in down dog, so maybe a hop, and then down dog. Whew. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Long breath out through the nose. And then start to walk your hands back towards your feet. And then grab that roll one more time. So we're gonna do a couple of things standing as we start to cool down. So grab the roll. And grab your 2 blocks. So we'll come into a little bit of a calf stretch, another one. So stand on the blocks. Stand on your blanket. Toes are on your blanket, heels are down on your mat. Now we'll come into a classic forward fold here. So you can reach, rest your hands on blocks, your knees can be bent, but we're fairly warm now, so try and straighten your knees if you can, and just forward fold this way. If you'd like, you can also set your forearm down and forward fold this way, but kind of hang out here. And see if you can find some ease in this pose. If you need a little deeper stretch, you can always dial the blocks down a little bit. Some of you might not even need blocks. But hang on to this for, let's say, another 5 cycles of breath. And try and keep the hips over the heels or hips over the ankles without shifting your weight all the way back. You'll lose that stretch. And then very slowly, you can slowly sink your hips to come all the way back up. Oh. Okay, we're done with the blanket. You can set it aside. And then let's come into, this is gonna be a stretch more for your QL, so it's an asymmetrical forward fold. Have your 2 blocks handy, and just come into a forward fold. I'm gonna start with my left leg, because that's the one that's closest to you. You will take a block and set it step your left foot on that block. So the left hip is going to be higher than the right. We want that imbalance. And then here, just forward fold this way and hang out here for a couple of breaths. So both knees can be bent to begin with. Then after a few breaths like this, you can start to maybe work that right knee straight if you'd like. This is choice, personal choice. Some of you might also want to try and work the left knee straight. So do what is calling to you. And then for one more additional stretch, you have the option of taking your hands, if your feet were pointed at 12, you can take your hands to maybe 1 or 2 o'clock. And so what we're targeting here is the QL, so that kind of left lower quadrant of our low back. And then let's come back through center. Slide the block out from under that left leg. Soft bend in the knees and slowly rise up. And we'll do it on the other side, but first give yourself a chance to reset. Then inhale, sweep the hands up. Exhale, forward fold again. Then take the block, slide it under your right foot, and allow for that imbalance as you fold over. Left knee can be bent. Then when you feel ready, if you want to work that left knee straight, go ahead and do that. And if you want to work the right knee straighter, you can also do that. And then if you'd like to take that little side bend, you move the block towards 10 or 11 o'clock. And then eventually coming back to center. And then this time just to even out both sides, just coming to a classical forward fold. And slow, slow, you can start to drop your hips, bring them down to your mat. And then let's set up for pigeon. So I think this is my 10th class. I haven't done a full pigeon yet. So go ahead and set up. We'll start with the right leg forward. So bring this right shin. You can either have it at an angle, that 45-degree angle, or if the right hip's feeling okay, you can try and take it parallel with the top of your mat. Notice here, if the right hip starts to lift off your mat, you can slide a block or that blanket underneath your hip. Before you fall into your pigeon, I want you to check that back leg. You don't want the left foot sickling, you want it straight behind you. And then stay upright for 2 or 3 breaths here. This just allows the pelvis to kind of settle a little bit deeper into the mat. And then very slowly start to walk the hands forward. You can fold over here, your head can be on a block. You can come down to forearms. Let's be about choice. And then options, you can stay like this if you'd like. A little bit of a shoulder stretch, you can always thread the needle here. Where you reach the right hand forward, you'll take the left hand, thread it under the right, and then you'll come down. You can take the block and rest it. So this is a little bit of a shoulder stretch. If you want a little bit more, you can also take that right hand and wrap it around the low back. So many different options. Another option is if you want to walk your torso out at an angle. Let's say you take the torso out to about 10 or 11 o'clock. That's another option. On your next inhale, start to walk your hands in, slowly making your way out of your pigeon. And then here, you can just tilt to the right slightly. Swing this whole left leg forward. Tilt to the left. Swing the right leg back. And then kind of set up your base. So set up for your pigeon, deciding if you want your left shin parallel or at an angle. Then square your hips down towards the mat. Check your right leg. And then stay upright for 2 or 3 breaths here. And then start to make your way down, taking any option that feels good to you. If you're looking for the thread the needle, it's the right hand that reaches under the left armpit. If you want it at the angle, you'll walk your torso out to about 1 or 2 o'clock. On your next inhale, start to walk your hands in, lift your torso, lean to the left slightly, and then swing this whole right leg forward. And then let's set up for a forward fold. So if you're still thinking hamstring stretch, go ahead and just straighten your legs. If you're thinking more low back, grab that rolled up towel, slide it under your knees, and take your pick. When you're there, reach up, take an inhale, lengthen your spine. As you exhale, hinge at your hips, and then fold. Start to lift your torso, coming out of your forward fold. And then we'll all meet on our backs. And so once you've made your way there, let's set up for a restorative bridge. So you want either one block or both your blocks close by. Feet will be under your knees or slightly forward, you decide. Then pressing your hands down into the mat, you'll lift your hips. Think of drawing your heels in towards your hips. So just a little bit of a hamstring strengthener. For 3, for 2, for 1, and then slowly set your hips down. We'll do 2 more of that, and then the third time, we'll slide the block under our hips. So when you're ready, start to lift up into your second bridge. You go ahead and engage the hamstrings by drawing your heels in towards you. And then slowly start to unroll your spine. The hips are the last to touch. And then last one. When you're ready, lift your hips. You get them as high as your knees. And keep that activation in the hamstrings. All right, now is when you grab that block and you decide what height you'd like that block to be. Slide it somewhere under your low back, right around your sacrum area.
And then set your hips down on that block. If you need or want a little bit more height, go ahead and set that slide the second block under your hips. You still have a few minutes left just for you. So try and keep your thoughts present and on your mats. It's not yet time to think about what's going to happen at 10, 11. Start to press down into your feet to lift your hips. Keep your hips lifted as you slide your block or blocks out from under you. Then very slowly, like a string of pearls, lower one vertebrae at a time. Hips are the last to touch. And then bring the soles of your feet together, knees apart. Coming into Baddha Konasana. If you'd like to take Vajrapradana Mudra one more time, go ahead and interlace your fingers up to your second knuckle. Thumbs are pointing up. Rest your palms at your heart center. Thumbs are reaching for your collarbones. Widen the elbows. The mudra of unshakable trust. And breathe into the space that you've created, not just in the body, but in your mind. And then we'll make our way into Shavasana. You can hold on to this mudra if you'd like, or you can go ahead and release it and just start to straighten your legs. Starting to take up space on your mats. Let the arms come down into a low V if you're not holding on to that mudra. Relax your feet so that they fall to the sides. And then try to release any and all effort remaining in your body. Starting to find support and comfort from the earth. Let it support you. You are welcome to stay in your Shavasana, or if you're ready to move on and be guided out of it, start to invite some movement back into your bodies. Wiggle your fingers and thumbs, fingers and toes, and then start to circle out your wrists and ankles. And then come into a full body stretch. Reach the arms overhead, point the toes forward. Gently gather your knees into your chest, and then lower them to either side, coming into a fetal pose. Slowly press yourself up to a comfortable seat. Bring your hands to heart center. Thank you for joining me this morning. May you love
a little deeper. Open your mind a little wider. Forgive a little quicker. Namaste, everyone. Have a great weekend. I'm going to come in.